Alright, hear me out. This may just be recency bias, but the new 2021 Netflix anime, Transformers: The War for Cybertron, may very well be the best piece of Transformers media ever. Here's why. Originally debuting in 1984, Transformers as the franchise has had the past 30 years to refine its lore. Transformers: War for Cybertron does an amazing job pulling from the past 3 decades of media, telling a wonderful, well-crafted story based in an alternate timeline taking place in the original Gen 1 era, further based off of a comic series of the same name, Transformers: War for Cybertron, that took place in 3 parts or 3 arcs, as does the anime produced by Netflix. Something War for Cybertron did really well was have far less static characters, for example, Bumblebee, initially not being an Autobot, but instead someone who chose to not choose a side during the Civil War conflict, and eventually, when he was prompted with no other option, siding with the Autobots. Or another instance being our semi-iconic Decepticon Impactor, who, when healed by one of his enemies, questions the ethics of the war. And for our third and final example, Megatron, who not only in part 1, but also throughout the entire series of War for Cybertron, shows remorse for his actions. Also, throughout the 3-part series of Transformers: War for Cybertron, Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom, we also see various pieces of other Transformers media retold, including, but not limited to, the movie from 1986. Just, you know, without the iconic soundtrack and characters.
We can't hold out forever, Cup, but we can give them one humongous repair bill!
And the witty humor that made this really fun and interesting and unique.
Look! Don't look behind door number 2, Monty! It's time to play End of the Line, my Valentine! So, Ronnie, do run, Ronnie, more!
There are fucking Australian Transformers that speak gibberish, and the gibberish is based off of what they saw on TV, because they somehow have TVs that get signal from Earth, despite being light years away from Earth.
Have a nice day, and please close cover before striking, friends! Reap it or rooty, so say the Junkians!
Where'd you learn to talk like that?
TV!
At the same time, those 3 things being removed from the picture made room for a more serious story to be told. Another piece of media that Transformers: War for Cybertron pulled from, aside from the movie, was also Beast Wars, which came after Gen 1 Transformers. You know, it's a sequel series. It's not something that I watched, but I rewatched a few series before going ahead and making the claim that
the best piece of Transformers media ever.
Transformers: War for Cybertron pulls from a bit of stuff from Beast Wars, from what I can tell. I don't know if it's all of it. I don't know the full story of Beast Wars, but I will say I do now have a new favorite character from the Transformers franchise, and that is Dinobot. Not Dinobots plural like Grimlock and the T-Rex that I have right fucking here, but like Dinobot singular. That is his name, not the name for a group. He's fun. He's got a good arc. And one specific scene to look forward to in the end of the show, the final arc, Kingdom is the name of it, because they're again 3 parts, Siege, Earthrise, Kingdom, watched in that order, not the other order. I almost accidentally started with Kingdom, because I was like, there's 3 things on Netflix. Why aren't they listed under one thing as 3 different seasons if they're not the same thing? Then I was like, wait, none of this makes sense, I'm in the middle of the story. One scene to look forward to in Kingdom, Dinobot versus Megatron. It is fucking amazing. I loved it. Now, we're just gonna talk about various Transformers things. Like, I don't know, the movie. The movie from 1986 that is awesome, that features Unicron. Oh, Unicron? You know what else is fucking Unicron? This! This is not Unicron, as I realized when I looked at the face and saw that, wait, this entire thing is fucking blue. But this is a toy that I've had since I was little. I looked it up. This is apparently Cybertron Prime. I don't know what that means. When I was little, this was a toy that was really hard for me to mess with because it was very mechanical and heavy. I thought, wow, this is gonna be difficult to move back and forth. Then I realized, oh, this is one of the easiest ones to transform. I just had a hard time when I was little because it was too heavy for me. I'll now be showing my bin Transformers toys. Here we can see a tub full of Transformers toys, and what's this? A layer of retro Nintendo consoles because I got this out of my closet 2 days ago. Anyway, what else is on this layer of Nintendo retro consoles? Oh, what would you look at that? It's the Marvel run of the Transformers comic series. It features Spider-Man, the issue that has Spider-Man in it. But I have 2 copies of it. Stay till the end of the video to learn how to enter a giveaway where you could get one of my 2 copies of this comic.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
I dug through the bin for a moment, not really digging because everything is on the top layer right now, but I got out some of the stuff that I played with as a kid that I wanted to show. First off, this Soundwave that is already transformed, that was from the 2007 iteration of Transformers Animated. That's a bit of a stupid name, because that can get confusing. Transformers Animated. You could say that and someone would think, oh, you're referring to the old Transformers show from the 80s, or you're referring to just any animated Transformers show, when in reality, there's one titled Transformers, Animated. Stupid name. But it aired on Cartoon Network. I watched it when I was little, got some of the toys. Now, I had a hard time transforming this one at first. It's fairly simplistic, but some of these are really easy, and some of these are really hard to do, which is a bit sad, because this is a toy line meant for fucking kids, and these 2 are the same character, just at different points in the timeline. This is Megatron as a tank. This is Galvatron as a tank. Galvatron is the form that Unicron turned Megatron into. This, I can easily do in like 10 seconds. This, I don't know where the fuck to begin. And I'm 19. How do you expect a kid to know how to use this? This, I can easily just go like that, lower the legs, head's now in front, arm down, pull torso down, feet, and there we go, we have a fucking standing Transformer. This, I don't think I ever turned this back into its tank form. It's always just stayed like this. The same thing for this this Bumblebee figure from the era of the live action films. I don't think I ever put this in either form fully. I think I always had it in a constant state of being between transformed and untransformed. Is him missing a head shows how much I tried to fuck with this, to the point where his head popped up and I lost it. A prime example of missing parts would be this. Get it? Get a prime example? It's Optimus Prime. Here he is. Here I also have Black Arachnia, the version that was in the Transformers 2007 Transformers animated series, same as this Soundwave truck, but she is much easier to transform than Soundwave is. I think that the ones that are easiest to transform look the nicest, play the nicest for a kid or someone older, and are just generally better in every way. They're easier to use, they look nicer. What the fuck do I do with this? Black Arachnia, I believe, first appeared in Beast Wars, and this is her second iteration from Transformers Animated. This is, for me, I guess the precursor to the Spider Lady from Monster Musume, if you catch my fucking drift. Last toy that I'll be showing on camera before we move on to the next subject is this Optimus Prime. But this is the one that I liked the most because it was simplistic in design and easier to transform. It's just like this, but once I do transform him, take his arms out like that, pop the head out, twist it.
Hey, what's up?
Move him around, and then push down. What's supposed to happen is the springs hold him in place, and these stay where they are. But what normally happens, after a little bit, they pop out like that, and then he's stuck like this. And halfway between fully transformed and in truck mode. That's because the springs are not broken, but just worn from age. So I guess this worked as a design at the time, but clearly did not work for longevity. I believe there was a second model of this where he didn't have this spinning gimmick. It's cool, but it's kinda a bit annoying. Now, before I referred to Transformers War for Cybertron as an anime, and that's because Netflix has it listed as an anime, but if you go on myanimelist.net, you can search up Transformers and you will see every Transformers series that has been an anime previously listed, except for this one. Now, why is Transformers considered an anime in the first place? To get into that, I'll have to go through some history. First off, looping back to the movie that I've mentioned several times so far, the one from 1986, Transformers the movie. Most, if not all of the original cast from the Transformers series died in that movie, including Optimus Prime, and that is something that had lasting consequences on the series as a whole because it was considered canon. So the characters that made that movie really fun were the main cast for the original Gen 1 series going forward: Hot Rod, Cup, RC, etc. This disappointed fans and led to the series slowly declining. Originally, the series started with a 3-episode TV pilot. When that was received well, it was given the okay to have a 16-episode first season. After the massive success of Transformers Season 1, the 16-episode season, it was given a green light for an even longer Season 2 that lasted 49 episodes and took a more moral-based approach, with each episode being episodic rather than each episode having a continuous story that is being told. After that is when the movie came out and everyone fucking died. Season 3 is the season that continued with Hot Rod, Blur, RC, and Cup, and the cast we saw in Transformers movie. Again, that being where the decline of the series and its fan base began. After the not-so-successful, shorter Season 3, Season 4 was made into a thing, except it wasn't a full season, but rather a short TV special that was ironically the same length as the original TV special that started the series in the first place, only 3 episodes. This 3-episode special series brought back Optimus Prime from the dead, in turn wrapping things up for the American-produced Transformers Gen 1. But that is not where Gen 1 ended. After that 4th season, we entered an era of Transformers anime that lasted between 1987 and 1990, before coming to an end in 1996, with Beast Wars Transformers being the first American-produced Transformers series since, well, the end of Gen 1. Despite the declining Western audience for Transformers, Beast Wars was relatively well received and got 3 full seasons before it was taken over again by Japan and turned into an anime with Beast Wars 2. Beast Wars would last this way until 2000, when we got another Transformers anime with Transformers Robots in Disguise. At least that was the American name for it. In Japan, it was called Transformers, I shit you not, Car Robots, with Beast Wars 2 and Car Robots being the most recent iterations of the Transformers franchise going into the 2000s. We would not see the end of that second Transformers anime era until 2007 with Transformers Animated, the Cartoon Network licensed Transformers show that featured characters both old and new being Bulkhead from the off the top of my head, who would also return in Transformers Prime, the Transformers series to come next after Animated, over in 2013. Transformers Prime would air on The Hub, which was a, at the time, new channel, which only lasted a few years, I believe, that aired stuff like Fraggle Rock, My Little Pony, Del Toro Quest, Dan Versus, and once again, Transformers Prime. And aside from the live-action movies, I think that sums up my abridged version of Transformers history for the video stuff, not like the games or the comics. I haven't read any of the comics. I haven't watched most of the shows that I've mentioned. I've skipped over a lot of things because I've only listed the start and the end of various eras of the anime side of things. But technically, even during the Gen 1 era of Transformers, where it was just those first 4 seasons, that technically was an anime as well, not because it was being produced and targeted towards a Japanese audience, which it was released in Japan, but because the series animation-wise was outsourced to both Japanese and Korean animation studios. So that's technically anime because it's Japanese animation. May not look like it, but that is what it is. Well, that was my video going over Transformers War for Cybertron and why I liked it, and then going into multiple other things within the subject of Transformers, such as my abridged version of the Transformers animated history that is likely full of inaccuracies. I don't claim to be some Transformers super fan. Sure, I have a whole bunch of stuff from when I was little, but I pulled that out of storage. I haven't touched that bin of toys in a long time. Watching the movie and some of the old shows, and this new show was my first time getting into Transformers in years, really. I'm doing a giveaway of one of my 2 copies of this comic from the Marvel run of the Transformers comics where Spider-Man shows up. Hopefully the same day this video goes up, there will be a tweet put out on the Otaku Empire Twitter, and it will have instructions on how to enter the giveaway to get this comic. The instructions are probably going to be something like, follow my Twitter, follow the Otaku Empire Twitter, like the tweet, retweet, and leave a comment. Again, thank you for your time. Hope you have a wonderful day. See you next time.